Should you give up on something when it isn't working? So, I made this illustration a long while back. I had the sketch for it and I just forgot about it. I put it up on a poll. I said, choose the one that you really like the most. People chose this sketch. I said, okay, great, I have something to work on. I was hoping they would pick the fish with a handbag that also had a goldfish because I thought it was stupid and fun, but nobody chose it, and I'm okay with that. Moving on. So this piece I called The Ghost and His Knight. It was kind of like this sad story of a knight who lost his love, and she now is like, please do not let him be taken by the darkness. But I wanted to also learn new things. See, I don't know how to paint armor, and I don't know how to draw armor, so I wanted to just make simple armor that I could use for this piece, because I knew I wanted to put all my eggs in one basket for just learning something. That's fun. That was great. It was not good. It was not great at all. But I truly did not expect the pain I felt when I decided I wanted to color it in. The only reason that I hadn't quit was because I was so worried about becoming one of those content creators that it's like, oh yeah, I'll do something and then doesn't, because I already did that once and I didn't want to do it again. I just don't remember which one I did it for. If you go back in my work and you see it, please let me know. So let's talk about the piece. It made me want to cry. By all measure of the word, I wanted to cry. See, while I didn't want to leave my followers hanging, I gave it 220 followers on YouTube. Yay! But this piece became my agony. I went in and I kept rendering and rendering. I planned my colors first because I don't know what to color my pieces in the original drafts. So after doing all the sketching, I got rid of the flower wreath over their heads. I was devastated because it took me a full 30 minutes, but I went on with my life and said, you know what? We'll keep going. It's fine. It's fine. Then the next thing was, as I started coloring the ghost and the knights, my I don't know how to color metal definitely threw me off. The whole piece was made of metal. I didn't give myself any other place where he was having skin, and I definitely did not know how to make chainmail. But at the same time, all the reference I was using didn't make any sense to me, so I didn't know what I was doing with his neck area. Like, his neck area is just kind of like weird, and I kept trying to render it and paint it. It didn't go well, but I kept going and going and going. I gave up. I just said, this isn't worth it. I will just redo the entire piece in a different way. And I thought that would make me happier. I was like telling my friends, hey, this I'm doing, but I give up with this and I'm gonna make myself happy. Go to a different piece. You know what? I was enjoying myself for the first couple of hours, but then guess what happened? I gave up again. It just didn't seem to work. The piece itself was prettier and I liked how I was rendering it, but as I kept looking at it, I'm like, this isn't the right one, this isn't the right one, this isn't the right one, this isn't the right one. You're gonna make a video about this. This isn't the right one. Stop. I gave up on the two of them. I couldn't keep going anymore. So I took a break, left the whole thing, and went back to other work. But then, every mistake, I could see it. Everything that went wrong, I knew what it was. And I saw where I failed. And it became glorious. I realized there were so many things wrong. The pose! His pose wasn't good enough. It didn't make any sense. And after I asked for help from my brother, who took pictures of me for reference, and my mom, who was also an artist, and helped me get everything down, asked me several different questions that definitely gave me more insight into the work. She told me all this and was like, redo this, redo this, redo this. I listened. It turned out better. Another thing, after going through all my Pinterest arts and everything I'd seen, I realized I actually hate line arts in every shape and form. I do not want line art in any of these pieces. Line art for different things is fine, but I have a very sketchy kind of style. And I do a lot of paintovers. So instead, I could just not use the line art at all, because I have no reason for it. It's just kind of there. Doesn't mean I don't like it for other stuff. I like making little shorts with it. I definitely don't like it in my animation, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I got to this man, and I felt so much better. I managed to finish his armor, the sketch for it, and all of that in one day. Then the next day, I colored it and finished everything. I managed to get him done in 2 days when the previous concoction of agonizing pain that put me in its shackles as if it wanted to drag me in the underworld took me about 2 weeks. Learned a lot from it. I can't say that I'm happy that it took this long, but I learned from it. Then I moved on to the ghost. I tell you, the reason why I didn't touch the ghost for most of this whole playthrough was because I did not like that it took me so long to render this guy. And I knew she would be easy. I knew I wouldn't have to do much because she's mostly covered by the guy. And in the piece, the whole wound I put in that was like how she died, you can't see it anymore, but I don't care anymore. I'm done with it. I'm moving on. I want to do other stuff now. She was honestly the easiest, but every time I came out of the piece and wanted to look at everything as a whole, I kept jump scaring myself, going ah, because I made her too scary for myself. And I may just be a Disney kid who grew up and became a Disney adult. I got scared. I love the horror movies, as you can tell. Anyway, after I finished the background, rendered the grass like there was no tomorrow, and did clouds that I'm pretty sure look kind of haphazard, but it's still fine because I enjoyed the process either way. I finished this awful, awful nightmare, and you know what? I'm actually pretty happy. He looks great. He looks kind of like Zorro if you look too closely. But he looks awesome. His armor looks well rendered. I added pretty highlights. He makes me happy. And the ghosts in the back, I actually enjoyed the process. I actually felt good. So, what have we learned from this? Should you give up on something you are working on? Absolutely yes, if it is giving you stress, anxiety, keeping you in its shackles for so long. I have mentioned this, but we will keep mentioning it because I am tired. It's not worth it to keep doing things that you're not enjoying. Well, I came back to it after I told myself I don't want to work on it anymore. You know what I learned? I learned I have a different rendering style. How to render metal out. Learned how to make myself happy. And that is not to spend more than 2 weeks on a piece. But sometimes you can give up and you can still learn from it. Sometimes you just need to swallow your pride and say you'll do better next time. Because failure doesn't always mean just failure. You just take that in your stride. Sometimes I just want to give it some time and make things easier. And that's okay. You can come back, be refreshed, and when you finally have the mental capacity or team, or maybe even just get better at your job, you can come back to this and say, I want to do this again. But giving up can also mean giving up before you even started, and that's kind of a bad thing because it's more of fear. So, in the next video, you will be seeing me make backgrounds. Because I don't want to be scared of them anymore, and I got a show I want to make. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.